The Giraffe and the Pelly and Me, Roald Dahl. Not far from where I live, there is a cool old empty wooden house standing all by itself on the side of the road. I long to explore inside it, but the door is always locked. And when I peer through a window, all I can see is darkness and dust. I know the ground floor used once to be a shop because I can still read the faded lettering across the front which says the Grubber. My mother has told me that in our part of the country, in the olden days, a grubber was another name for a sweet shop. And now every time I look at it, I think to myself what a lovely old sweet shop it must have been. On the shop window itself, somebody has painted in the right words for sale. One morning I noticed that for sale had been scrubbed off the shop window, and in its place somebody had painted sold. I stood there staring at the new writing and wishing like mad that it had been me who had bought it, because then I would have been able to make it into a grubber all over again. I have always longed to own a sweet shop. The sweet shop of my dreams would be loaded from top to bottom with sherbet shackers and caramel threads and resin toffee and sugar snorters and butter gum balls and thousands of other glorious things like that. Oh boy, what I couldn't have done with that old grubber shop if it had been mine. On my next visit to the grubber, I was standing across the road gazing at the wonderful old building when suddenly an enormous bathtub came sailing out through one of the second-floor windows and crashing right onto the middle of the road. Few moments later, a white porcelain lavatory pan with the wooden seats still on it came flying out of the same window and landed with a wonderful splattering crash just beside the bathtub. This was followed by a kitchen sink and an empty cannery cage and a four-poster bed and 2 hot water bottles and a rocking horse and a sewing machine and a goodness knows what else besides. I looked as though some madman was ripping out the whole of the inside house of their house, because now pieces of staircase and bits of banister and a whole lot of old floorboards came whistling through the windows. Then there was a silence. I waited and waited, but not another sound came from within the building. I crossed the road and stood right under the windows and called out, "Is anybody at home?" There was no answer. In the end, it began to get dark, so I had to turn away and start walking home. But you can bet your life nothing was going to stop me from hurrying back there again tomorrow morning to see what next surprise was going to be. When I got back to the Gerber house the next morning, the first thing I noticed was the new door. The empty old brown door had been taken out, and in its place someone had put a brand new red one. The new door is fantastic. It was twice as big as another one and had been and it looked ridiculous. I couldn't begin to imagine who would want a tremendous tall door like this that in his house unless it was a giant. As well as this, somebody had scraped away the sold notice on the shop window, and now there was a whole lot of different writing all over the grass. I stood there reading it and trying to figure out what on earth it all meant. I tried to catch some signs or sound of movements inside the house, but there was none, until all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eyes, I noticed that one of the windows on the top floor had slowly begun to open outwards. Then a head appeared in the open window. I stared at the head. The head stared back at me with a big round dark eyes. Suddenly, a second window was flung open, wide open. Of all the crazy things, a gigantic white spoon hopped out and pulled off the window sill. I knew that what this one was because of its amazing beak, which was shaped like a huge orange-colored basin. The pelican looked down at me and sang out, "Oh, how I wish for a big fat fish. I'm as hungry as ever could be. A dish of fish is my only wish." "How far away from the sea?" "We are a long way from the sea," I called back to him, "but there is a fishmonger in the village not far away." "A fish? What, a fishmonger?" "Now what on earth would that be?" asked the pelican. "I have heard of a fish pie and a fish cake and a fish finger, but I had never heard of a fishmonger. Are these mongers good to eat?" This question bothered me a bit, so I said, "Who's your friend in the next window?" "She's Giraffe," the pelican answered. "Is she not wonderful? Her legs are on the ground floor and her head is looking out of the top window." If all this wasn't enough, the window on the first floor was now franked wide open, and out popped a monkey. The monkey stood on the window sill and did a jiggly little dance. He was so skinny he seemed to be made only out of furry bits of fur, but he danced wonderfully well. I clapped and cheered and did a little dance myself in return. "We are the window cleaners," sang out the monkey. "We will polish your glass till it's shiny like grass and it sparkles like sun on the sea. We are quick and polite. We will come day or night, the giraffe and the Pelly and me. We are a fabulous crew. We know just what to do, and we will never stop working to drink tea. And your windows will grow when we give them a go, the giraffe and the Pelly and me. We use water and soup, plus some kindness and hope. We never use ladders, not we. Who needs ladders at all when you were 40 feet tall? Not Giraffe and not the Pelly and not me."